Life million years ago was brutal. The sun was merciless, predators ruled the earth, and survival was never guaranteed. For early humans, every day was a fight. But above all, one instinct stood above hunger, thirst, and fear: the need to protect their young. This is the story of how the very first humans defended their children against a world determined to destroy them. Chapter 1. The Fragile Beginning. Imagine you're an early human living in a world without rules, where nature operates on pure instinct. Life is tough. You struggle to find food and water, and danger lurks around every corner. In this harsh environment, there's one thing more precious than anything else: the continuation of your bloodline, your children. But they're not just precious, they're extremely fragile. Infants could not walk, could not defend themselves, and their cries drew predators closer. A child meant danger, yes, but also the future of the tribe. So how did the first humans manage to keep their young safe? For mothers, it was simple, almost automatic. They carried their babies everywhere, cradled close to their chest, while fathers and elders took positions at the edges, constantly vigilant, guarding from afar. The first defense was always movement, keeping children hidden, silent, and far from predators' paths. It sounds basic, almost instinctive, but it was effective. For now, our ancestors were not yet equipped with tools or weapons, but they had something even more powerful: stealth. They moved like shadows, trying to blend in with the surroundings, hoping their babies would be invisible to danger. They communicated in hushed tones, aware that loud noises could attract unwanted attention. If a predator approached, they were ready to flee, to disappear into the thick undergrowth, leaving no trace of their presence. And yet, despite these precautions, there were times when danger found them. Chapter 2. The Predators. It was a moonless night. The flickering light of the campfire danced in the eyes of the assembled humans. Around the fire sat a small group of early humans, their faces illuminated by the dancing flames. Among them were several mothers with their infants, their small bodies curled up beside them for warmth and comfort. Outside the circle, men and older children kept watch, their gazes sweeping over the dark shapes that loomed beyond the firelight. They knew there were dangers in the darkness, things that hunted by night and slept by day. The rhythmic crackle of the fire was the only sound that dared break the stillness of the night. Suddenly, a guttural growl echoed through the stillness, sending shivers down their spines. From the corner of his eye, one of the guards saw a pair of glowing eyes emerge from the darkness. With a low growl that rumbled in his chest, a large male leopard emerged from the underbrush, its lithe muscles rippling beneath its sleek coat as it stalked closer to the camp, its gaze fixed intently on the huddled figures around the fire. The men rose to their feet, instinctively forming a protective barrier between the women and children. Tension hung heavy in the air as the leopard continued to advance, its eyes never leaving the precious prize within the circle. One of the men let loose a barrage of shouts and gestures, trying to scare the beast away. Another grabbed a burning branch from the fire and waved it menacingly. The leopard hesitated, momentarily taken aback by the sudden movement and noise. Another predator that haunted their nights was the hyena, whose laughter echoed ominously across the plains. These creatures scavenged what they could find, showing no mercy towards the weak. Then there were the giant birds, majestic yet merciless, which swooped down from the sky like arrows, their sharp talons extended, ready to snatch unsuspecting infants from the ground. Even the rivers held danger, for they were home to crocodiles, lurking beneath the surface, waiting to drag the unsuspecting into the depths. Every parent looked to the skies when crossing a river. Theirs was a life of constant vigilance, a struggle to ensure that their offspring, the hope of the future, would see another sunrise. Chapter 3. The First Defenses. Yet amidst this pervasive fear, there flickered a spark of defiance, a burgeoning courage. As our ancestors faced these predators time and again, they learned, they adapted, and they evolved. They realized that while they could not outrun or outmuscle these creatures, they could use their collective strength, their unity, to protect their young. So they developed the first defenses, throwing stones to distract an approaching predator, or creating a wall of bodies to shield the children. They discovered that fire, when wielded correctly, could be a powerful weapon, forcing predators to retreat into the darkness. They formed circles around their young, transforming each gathering into a fortress of humanity. Men, women, children, all united in a common purpose, forming a bulwark against the forces of nature. These early humans, though initially driven by mere instinct, gradually began to understand that their actions had consequences. They started to associate certain locations with danger. For instance, after a few unfortunate encounters, they learned to stay away from trees at night. They understood that tall perches gave predators the advantage they needed to pounce. They also recognized the importance of maintaining constant vigilance near rivers. They placed a high value on those who could spot a crocodile lurking beneath the water's surface. As time went on, these insights were passed down from one generation to the next, becoming ingrained in their communal memory. What started as a response to immediate danger evolved into a system of shared knowledge, a rudimentary form of culture. Chapter 4. Lessons of Survival. Each encounter, whether successful or tragic, contributed to this growing body of knowledge. Each scar, each story of loss or triumph, was a testament to their resilience. If a leopard approached, they knew to make a lot of noise and use fire to scare it off. If hyenas were spotted, they knew to keep their distance, never turning their backs to the scavengers. If a crocodile was seen in the river, they knew to avoid the water's edge and never to drink alone. These lessons, etched in both their bodies and minds, were the product of countless sacrifices, of lives lost and hard-won victories. They created a culture of protection, a legacy that extended beyond their immediate survival. Chapter 5. The Spirit of Sacrifice. Let's talk about a pivotal moment in this story. Picture this. You're surrounded by your tribe, your children nestled safely among the adults. Suddenly, a hyena, driven by desperation, or perhaps a taste for human flesh, decides to risk it all and charges into your midst. Chaos erupts. People scatter. Some fall prey to the hyena's sharp teeth and claws. Others rally together, desperately trying to fend off the attacker. In that moment of crisis, a father steps forward. Without hesitation, he distracts the hyena, buying precious time for his family to escape. Although he sacrifices his own life, ensuring the survival of his child is the ultimate act of love, the greatest gift he could ever give. His spirit, along with countless others who made similar sacrifices, lives on in the genes of every human being, echoing through millennia until our time. The history of humanity is not just about wars, inventions, or scientific discoveries. At its core, it's a tale of relentless struggle, of pushing back the darkness, of ensuring that life, in all its fragility, continues. It's a story that began with the most fundamental of instincts, the need to protect the next generation. Millions of years ago, survival wasn't just about finding food or water. It was about protecting the fragile spark of life, the children who carried the future. Through fire, through stone, through courage and sacrifice, the first humans defended their young against a world that wanted to tear them down. And because of their efforts, we are here today. The story of humanity is the story of protection, and it all began with the fight to defend a child. Did you learn something new? Stay tuned for more.